Alright guys, so today this is just going to be a quick review over our upcoming quiz for Chapter 9. The first one we see is 5 divided by 1/5. The first thing you're going to do is make sure that they're both fractions. Because if I have one whole number and one fraction, I can't divide that. I need them both to be the same thing. So I'll just make them both fractions. 5 over 1 divided by 1/5. You can make any whole number a fraction by putting a 1 under it every single time. Next, I need to do something called the KCF. I remember the KCF every single time during this quiz and the Chapter 9 test. First thing you're going to do is keep the first fraction. Second thing you're going to do is change the sign. Then you're going to flip the last one. You see how I flipped this upside down? Now I'm ready to multiply my fractions like normal, like I learned in the last chapter. So I'm multiplying across. 5 times 5 equals 25. 1 times 1 equals 1. 25 over 1 also equals just a whole number, 25. The best answer for that one is 25. The next one's kind of tricky. It's a word problem. I'm going to read it slowly and take down notes as I'm reading it. Joel is using a recipe to make cookies for a club bake sale. According to the recipe, he needs 2/3 cup of sugar. He needs 2/3 a cup of sugar for each batch of cookies. He has 6 cups. How many batches of cookies can he make without buying any more sugar? A lot of us have been struggling to figure out, we know the whole thing is division, but what divided by what? How do I set up my equation? This is how it's going to work. Your 6 is going to go here because you have your 6 and then you're dividing out 2/3 as many times as you can to see how many batches you can make. Now we're going to do our division like we did on the last problem. First, they both need to be fractions, 6 over 1. Divided by 2/3. Then we do the KCF. We're going to keep 6 over 1. We're going to change the sign. We're going to flip the last one. Now we multiply across like last chapter. So then we see we have 6 times 3, which is 18. Then we have 1 times 2, which is 2. Now we see that we have an improper fraction. It's top heavy. I have to figure out how many times will 2 go into 18. 2 goes into 18 9 times with nothing left over. So it's actually just a whole number 9. So the answer is 9 batches. All right, the next question is also pretty tricky. It's a word problem. I'm going to read it slowly and I'm going to write down what we need from it. On a camping trip, people are divided into several groups. So this word problem already told us, hey, look out, you're dividing. That was nice. Each group needs to fill a 3-quart. And then in parentheses, look what it does on the problem. It says 3/4 gallon. So it gives us 2 as quarts, and then also in parentheses it says 3/4 gallon. That's interesting. I might need that later. Each group needs to fill a 3-quart or 3/4 gallon jug of water for cooking and mixing drinks. If the water tank holds 12 gallons, it holds 12 gallons. How many groups can fill their jugs from the tank? Explain your answer. Well, something divided by something. Just like the cookie one I just read, we have our whole amount of water, which is 12 jugs. And we're splitting out how many we can get from it. But here's the tricky part. Do I use the 3 quarts or the 3/4 gallon? I'm going to use the 3/4 gallon because we want our measurement that we're using, however we're dividing it out, to be the same. So we want to use the 2 that are G's for gallons. So it's going to be 12 divided by 3/4. Now we go ahead and set up our problem like normal. 12 over 1, we got to make 12 a fraction, divided by 3/4. We do the K, C, F. Keep the first, change the sign, flip the fraction. Now we're ready to go. We multiply across. 12 times 4 is 48. 1 times 3 is 3. We get an improper fraction. We have to figure out how many times 3 goes into 48. Well, I could sit and think all day long about how many times 3 goes into 48. The best thing I can do, because I'm timed on my quiz, is this, long division. Wow, this makes it so much easier. How many times can 3 go into 4? I know that's definitely 1 time. Perfect. How many times, then I'm going to bring down I have 1 left over, I'm going to bring down my 8. Now, how many times can 3 go into 18? Well, I could count by that, and it's going to be 6. 3 times 6 is 18. Minus it out, I have nothing left over. So how many times did 3 go in? 16 times. Was there any left over? None. So that means it's a whole number 16. All right, so for our quiz, we have this video, and then we're also going to have some questions on Dojo as well. I suggest you do all of those things in order to make sure that your grade is as high as it can be. Thank you, guys.